Steve Grant, and tonight myself, Anna, Sean and Lana will talk you through a few things about literacy. Literacy is our chosen topic, and it's an important one. Currently talking to you from the Officer Cadet School of New Zealand, one of many places that students of New Zealand could choose to go to or to choose a career path in after they've finished their schooling. In order to get to the Officer Cadet School of New Zealand, you need NCEA Level 2. And obviously part of that is to have NCEA Level 1 and Level 1 literacy credits. Now when I looked at the 2017 document that was released in May of next year, it talks about all the statistics for what people got at school in the 16 year. It makes for really good reading. 90% of European students get NCEA 1 literacy. 80% of Māori students get NCEA Level 1 literacy. It sounds like a really high, good number. In reality, 1 in every 10 Europeans does not have NCEA Level 1 literacy. And that is 1 in every 5 Māori students do not have NCEA Level 1 literacy. And this is a big problem because what it does is it puts up a lot of roadblocks. It means that all those students that haven't achieved that can never join this organisation as an officer. It doesn't matter if you want to be a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, if you want to get into a trade, or if you want to go to university, all those doors close to you if you can't get the literacy when you're at high school or in secondary school. Today's short video clip will look at a number of strategies that you can employ as teachers in order to improve literacy in your classroom. Sean's going to talk to us a little bit about how to implement a strategy that can help when teaching a complex subject. Lana will talk to you tonight about the importance of scaffolding and the importance of cutting and breaking down jargon. And finally, Anna is going to talk to us about text and how to interpret text and how to get the best out of text when we are learning.
When you guys are given exam questions or internal assessment questions, do you 100% understand what is being asked of you and what the question is wanting from you?
50%.
50%? Okay.
Scaffolding is a process in which the teacher helps the student master a task or concept that the student is initially unable to grasp independently. The teacher offers assistance with only those skills that are beyond the student's capability. The student is encouraged to complete as much of the task as possible unassisted. In keeping with Vygotski's theory of scaffolding, learning is promoted in a variety of ways. These include breaking the task down into smaller pieces, cooperative learning, communication, prompts, cue cards, and modelling. These strategies develop teamwork, peer dialogue, as well as a sense of achievement. Crucial to success is the teacher's ability to ascertain what the student already knows so that it can be hooked or connected to the new knowledge and made relevant to the learner's previous experience, thus increasing the motivation to learn.
What is it about exam questions or any type of literacy question is it that you guys struggle to understand?
Jargon.
Jargon?
Yeah, don't understand.
As a teacher, how can we help you understand what's being asked?
Speak in our language.
Yeah.
Explain.
Explain, break down, talk our
language.
language. Why do you think that there is a struggle to understand literacy at a senior level?
Because the teachers don't break it down to us to help us understand the question.
Deep learning is said to occur when the learner uses higher order cognitive skills such as analysing, interpreting, synthesising or problem solving to construct long-term understanding. The concept of scaffolding is applicable here because once someone has achieved sufficient depth in a particular domain, then the reflective skills and awareness they have developed can begin to facilitate and enhance learning in other domains. This process of asking for help, interpreting the help, applying the answer is a component of deep learning. Scaffolding and deep learning are highly complementary.
Alright, welcome back to class, everybody. Last week we were doing terminal velocity and projectile motion, and I noticed that you guys were really struggling to get these concepts. So I did a little bit of research, and I discovered that you're struggling with the vocabulary. So there's a couple different things that we're going to start doing. One, hopefully everybody got the online resources. I'm going to send you out your class material a few days before class every single time, and I want you to review it before you get here. As well, there's a vocabulary list with names attached to certain words. So if your name is attached to a word, per the instructions, you need to do a word expert card before class and be prepared to present it to the class. So, who had a word vocabulary card for today? All right. What's your word?
So my word is free fall. And the definition of free fall is that only acted on by the force of gravity. Some other points I found about free fall is that it has no air resistance, accelerates down at 9.8 meters a second squared, and that the mass is irrelevant. So I put this into a sentence.
Excellent.
My sentence was, they were in a vacuum, so the elephant and mouse were free falling and hit the ground together.
Awesome. Can I see the front of the card?
Sure.
Okay, so you've also added a graph,
Yes.
a photo of someone falling without air resistance, because we can assume that in a vacuum, and some formulas with a free body diagram. So that's excellent. So what we're going to do now is use some of our vocabulary to start going back to terminal velocity and projectile motion and learn about the two Newton laws that affect this situation, which are directly tied in to the formula and the free body diagram. So good work.
As teachers, knowing how we think about text is important. Many secondary students are reluctant readers of challenging texts because they get tripped up by tricky vocabulary and give up. This is why it is important for teachers to model their metacognitive processes, or how we as expert readers in our subject areas approach a text. Then students can see explicitly what it is that we do to read and comprehend difficult texts and how we persevere with them. When I pick up a novel for the first time, I turn it over and read the synopsis or the blurb at the back to give me an idea of what it is about. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath is partially based on the author's life in the early 1950s, when careers and lives for women were far different and more limited than they are today. How did I know this? I read the blurb at the back. If I was to read a piece of this story, I was supposed to be the envy of thousands of other college girls just like me, all over America, who wanted nothing more than to be tripping about in those same size 7 patent leather shoes I bought in Bloomingdale's one lunch hour, with a black patent leather belt and black patent leather pocketbook to match. The word patent might trip some struggling readers up and discourage them from continuing. There are several strategies that you could recommend for those readers. One is to use the dictionary to look up the definition. One is to use Auntie Google, because technology is wonderful and instantaneous these days. Another method would be to encourage them to continue by looking at the context within which that paragraph was written. She's talking about patent leather shoes. We know what leather shoes are. She's talking about a belt, and she's talking about a pocketbook, which we would infer, which we would guess or hypothesize would be like a wallet or a purse. So without letting it slow our progress on reading this story, we could understand from the context within which that tricky word is used what it is and what it means. Thank you for watching. Ka kite.
In summary, literacy is a really important aspect of schooling that isn't quite doing that well. When I did my final practicum for teaching, I was in a fairly low decile school, and I had students at level 10, that's the year before getting into NCEA, that couldn't write a sentence, that could barely do bullet points and couldn't structure any arguments either verbally or on page. And this was a significant issue that all of us as teachers really need to crack into, get stuck into. It's not just the English teacher's problem, it's all of our problems. So let's get in there, let's fix up the literacy. Thank you.